Kelly Brook just came up with a fabulous idea there, but I'm not going to tell you to. We'll go on quickly.
Loose Women the musical.
Yay!
Who's into this? I think between you and Kate, we've got scripts.
I know. But Frankie, it's just for the singers,
sing,
okay?
Babe. You're the only one that can sing out.
Okay. Anyway, welcome back. Still to come, a big night for Emmerdale and a certain loose woman.
Looks like we're going to have our work cut out. Where to start?
Perhaps at the beginning.
When everything was okay.
Stars in tonight's episode as one of the jurors who we're hoping sees through abuser Tom's lies. Will Belle get the justice that she deserves? We have got an Emmerdale exclusive with Belle. That's Eden Taylor-Draper. Now, just over 2 weeks ago, we embarked on our 25-hour talkathon that saw all the loose women talk openly about everything, including our own mental health stories, as part of ITV's Britain Get Talking campaign. We were gate-crashed by Chris Martin, who even gave Colleen a gift, but there was a really serious reason behind why we were doing it, to raise some much-needed funds to keep vital mental health helplines going, especially important at this time of year. And we have kept the lines open so that you can still donate this Christmas. To give 30, 20 or £10, text 30, 20 or 10 to 70870. Text costs your donation plus one standard rate message. You must be 16 or over, and please ask the bill payer's permission. 100% of your donation will go to our Britain Get Talking charities. Now, in just a moment, we'll be meeting Pete, who says his life was saved by the helplines. But first, here's Nadia to remind us of his story.
Man up. Men don't talk about their feelings. These are just some of the awful cliches men hear all the time. But with 2 in 5 men admitting to regularly feeling worried or low, and suicide remaining the biggest killer of men under the age of 50, it's vital we dispel these damaging myths and make it normal for men to ask for help. Someone who knows the power of asking for help is Pete. Now, when Pete reached his lowest moment, he finally found the courage to seek help, calling the Mind helpline when he felt he had nowhere else to turn.
Good girl. Most people would have looked at my life and seen me as successful. I had a great upbringing, went on to get a job in a really good law firm, but in the background, I knew from when I started university that I was struggling with my mental health, anxiety and depression. I was really afraid about speaking out. I thought it could damage my career. I was really afraid of the stigma and felt very ashamed of how I felt. I became a really good actor, actually. I think a lot of the time you wouldn't really have known what was going on. In my job, I gave a lot of presentations, and I'd been just feeling worse and worse about those, so my anxiety was really, really bad at that time. I was due to give a presentation that I was really nervous about, really nervous. And I drove onto the motorway, and as I was going, I could feel those first symptoms of a panic attack. I could feel shortness of breath, and my heart felt like it was beating so fast it was almost going to beat out of my chest. There's cars everywhere, everyone's moving at speed, so I knew I had to get myself to safety. So I had to come off at the next junction, and there was a service station there, so I was able to stop there. But as soon as I stopped, I just burst into tears. I was really frightened about calling my parents or my wife. They were the first people I thought of calling, but I was terrified that I'd frighten them. I knew, because I'd looked at their website many times, that Mind had a phone line that I could call. It was a woman who answered the phone. There was no judgment, no questions that asked me whether what I was saying was really true. That was one of the first occasions where I spoke to anyone really in detail about exactly what was going on and exactly what those panic attacks were like for me, and how fearful I was about my anxiety and the fact that it had such a hold on me. It has become much easier to talk about my mental health and just be able to explain my feelings to people, because it was such a big part in putting down the foundations of where I am today. If I hadn't called Mind in that moment, it's really hard to say what would have followed. I don't honestly know whether I'd still be here.
This is really serious. Calls to those helplines can save lives. They can also save families. Because when a man experiences poor mental health, the ripple effect can touch everyone in their lives. My husband, Mark, lives with bipolar 2, and I've witnessed firsthand just how much progress can be made when men are open with how they're feeling. Talking and listening is so important in helping us all feel less alone. Today, during our Loose Women Talkathon, you can support these helplines. Just £10 could help one of our Britain Get Talking charities' trained advisors answer a call for help via their helplines or web chat. The numbers are on your screen now. Thank you.
Well, please welcome Pete Riddleston. Pete, it is really so lovely to have you here because you touch us all with your story and you're joined in the audience by your lovely daughter, Poppy. I have to say, I'm had to resist myself to go over and give her a cuddle because you've obviously found it pretty tough just watching that again. And Judy, you agree, it really moved us,
I
didn't it?
was like, pass me the tissue, you know, but it's, you know, it's such an amazing thing you being here and speaking about what you've been through and as I said, watching your daughter and having this conversation. How did your family react when you said to them, you know, I think I want to go public about this, I've got this opportunity to share my experience?
It's always a difficult conversation,
Yeah.
but I've got so much support. You know, my wife, my children, my parents, they're incredibly supportive of me wanting to talk about my mental health and some of the struggles that I've had. And I think, you know, we're all kind of getting used to that and the reaction, I guess. Yeah, just incredibly supportive, I'd say.
And especially like your parents from that different generation, how were they when you first approached them?
I don't think they find it all that easy, but they back me completely. And that means so much to have that support there. And, you know, without my family, without my friends, it would be so much more difficult. You know, coming down here on the train this morning, I had so many messages of support and so on, and it helps enormously.
How are you now?
I'm good. I'm in a really good place, actually. Thank you. Yeah, it's amazing how much has changed since I was in a position where I made that call to mind. I don't fear anxiety. I don't fear depression in the way that I did then. And what I've been able to do over time is just build a whole range of strategies that really help me and sort of keep me on track. I can recognise when I might need to change how I'm doing things a little bit just to manage my own mental health. So yeah, things are in a good place right now. Yeah, definitely.
Do you feel like it is men in particular that find it hard to talk about their mental health? And do you try and encourage any of your male friends or family?
Yeah, definitely. I think it is hard for men. You know, all of the research and statistics sort of support that. But yeah, I do try and have really open conversations with my friends about mental health. It's funny, often I'll go to rugby or cricket with friends, and sometimes it's a bit easier in that situation to have that conversation because, you have that distraction. You don't have to sort of necessarily look each other in the eye and say, right, let's have a conversation about our feelings and our mental health. So it's far less threatening.
Well, listen, Pete, thank you so much. It's been lovely to finally meet you in person because we felt we knew you already. Pete Riddleston, everyone. And Poppy's clearly very proud of you there. Pete's the reason we're doing all of this. People like him who need support at times in their life. And the mental health charity Mind have said that loneliness and feelings of helplessness and anxiety increase over the festive season. £30 could help one of Mind's helplines run for half a day. Corey, Steve and Amy took some time out to tell us how important the work is.
Every year, an estimated 1 in 4 of us may experience a mental health problem.
ITV's Britain Get Talking charities run free helplines that provide a safe place to talk and get advice.
They could be a lifeline for those that may be suffering from a mental health problem or worried about a loved one.
Our Britain Get Talking charities aim to answer every single person's call for help.
Which is why we're going to ask you to donate wherever you can today to ensure that our mental health charities can be there for those who may have nowhere else to turn.
To donate £30, 20 or £10, please text 30, 20 or 10 to 70870.
Text costs your donation plus one standard rate message. You must be 16 or over, and please get permission from the bill payer. And 100% of your donation will go towards our Britain's Get Talking charities.
Thank you.
And thanks to everyone who has supported the telethon, the talkathon. Frankie's getting festive later on to solve your Christmas rows, and after the break, an Emmerdale exclusive as Belle fights for justice against abusive ex-Tom. Live from the Dales, next.